Tube.
Wait, okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to What If Deku? No, I'm sorry. Welcome to What If We Were in MHA. And today we have Show.
Hello, I am Yasura, aka the Nameless Alchemist, aka Yasura Musashi, the man who was obsessed with
AKA nobody
samurais.
fuck. Illusion Go.
Hello, I am Garo, aka Illusion Tip.
Man. And I am Main. The person that everybody gave up on.
Tough.
Imagine being you.
Alright, so
Wait,
as he said,
early.
we're gonna be doing What If We Were in MHA. We all have different quirks. Garo, say your quirk.
Basically, what Geno shoots out of his arms.
Basically, he's a cyborg.
Yes.
So you next.
The Forest Padawan.
He basically has the force. And then there's me. I have alchemy.
Nah, he's a nigga. That's his quirk.
Shut your bitch ass up before I feed you
No.
to steroids.
Shut up, bro. That's why you play Godzilla.
You know us recording.
Nigga, that's why you look
right?
like an elf.
It's recording.
You like an elf. You look like a slave elf. Anyway,
okay. Anyways, play our intro.
I've been thinking way out of my element. They were speaking the smoke, I'm inhaling it. But we know you a bitch and you terrible. She was eating my dick like an edible. I throw game to my niggas to bet them. They done gave me the cards and I'm setting them. Brody gave me the perks and I'm setting them.
Alright, so one day we were all just walking home from the store because we got something to eat. We all were just chilling in Seattle. We all were just 21. We've just, we're just bumping it at a local hanging out place. And we got ran over. And then we woke up into My Hero World. And yeah, Acel, go on with your backstory.
So like, when we get ran over, do you start off as kids?
No, we're born.
Okay. So basically, when Kizu is born, he's the first time he goes to the court doctor, he's tested as quirkless because I don't think the force can be a quirk, but I'm gonna make it so yeah.
It can.
Yeah, that's true. But the cells haven't fully developed yet, so he doesn't know what it is, and it just looks weird. So he just thinks he's quirkless. So time skip to like when he's 4, and Bakugo and Izuku is there, and basically, Bakugo in their entire class would be making fun of Izuku and me because we didn't have any quirks whatsoever. And in this world, it is too important. If you don't have a quirk, you're considered an outcast and not useful. So I got God. So yeah, and Bakugo starts showing off his explosion and starts making fun of us because we don't have quirks. And basically, at the end of class, we go down, and their goons start bullying me and Izuku, and Deku, and that's the time my quirk would awaken. And as soon as Bakugo would try to how do I say this, explode me or do a small explosion in my face, since we're still kids, the force isn't that strong yet, but still pretty strong considering how strong it was when. You know what? I'm not gonna get into it that much, but Izuku would basically just force pushed him to the ground. And he basically did it to everyone, and just and then he did it once again, and then pushed them into the ground, making the ground break because why not? And they were kind of scared because they didn't know what was happening, and they all just I've ran away. And Deck would be watching this and would be amazed how Shizu was able to do that, and he just fanboying over his power, and they become good friends, and nobody really messes with them because they have nobody messes with Deku because his friend has a quirk, and if Bakugo and their goons ran away, then they know it must be pretty strong if a Bakugo ran away, and nobody messed with them for the entire time they were in that school, and they became really good friends. And yeah, and over time, his quirk would be getting stronger because he's getting older, and next time, Bakugo picks a fight with Deku, and since Deku didn't have a quirk in middle school and he knew that Shizu wasn't there, he would basically start body Deku. I'm sorry. I tried to do something good and I messed up. But anyway, body Deku, just explode him in the face and everything. Not too severe, not like
Yeah, explode.
what?
No.
It's basically not
He
anything,
nutted in Deku's face, SMH.
not anything too severe. Just explode, and he just explodes him everywhere, but not too strong because even though he hates Deku, he knows that he will be sent to prison if Deku dies or something like that happens. So Shizu hears about this and goes to Bakugo, who's in the back of the school, and they basically pick a fight with a stronger Bakugo and a stronger Shizu, and Bakugo basically just runs up with his explosions, and Shizu just looks at him and says, "Down." And basically the gravity of Bakugo was just like, wow, like the ground would break as he just sits down, like he couldn't get up. And Bakugo would try to move his arm, and Deku would just hold his hand on it and just start basically just force hold it and says move and like crush it. And Bakugo doesn't move, and he just Deku moves through the back of the school while the goons are watching, and basically everyone saw how Bakugo got beat. And he's walking to Deku, and Deku gets up and just follows Shizu, and that's the last time that Bakugo ever messed with Shizu and Deku again. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of his backstory. So I hope you liked it. And yeah.
Okay, so when Akari was a kid, his parents weren't exactly the best people. They would do experiments on him to the point where they turned him into a cyborg. From this method, he gained a quote-unquote quirk that allowed him to shoot compressed beams of heat out of his arms and legs. Then, after all this happened, he continued to live his life like none of the things that his parents did to him happened. some people had noticed the changes in how his body was built, and when he broke his arm once, that it didn't seem to affect him at all, that it just reattached. But some people just thought that it was his quirk, and nobody else questioned it. That is my character's backstory.
That shit was lasted than the amount of time I lasted in bed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's alright though. It's alright.
Respect for the homie Garo. If anyways,
Okay, so after my character got isekai'd, like how Main's OC did, and how Garo's OC did, it basically just born into a baby's body, and he was just confused, cause this ain't an anime, but it is. So he was just looking at the doctors and with a weird face, and yeah, time skipped to when he was basically 4. He saw that his dad was like really interested into these certain types of books that were like magic and alchemy based.
yeah, alchemy based.
What?
I said, yeah, alchemy based.
Yeah. So basically, well, and his friend, yeah. So basically, everybody was unlocking their quirks and shit. He basically saw that one of his friends unlocked the mind control quirk. His friend's name was Shinso Hitoshi, and after his friend used his quirk onto one of the girls and made them punch the teacher in the nuts, he was just confused because he didn't know about quirks until everybody told him what it was. And so he basically got fascinated by quirks, and he started doing more research about them and about the books that his dad researched. And so basically one time when Shinso was just being a dickhead because he felt that he had a powerful quirk and everybody called him a villain, he decided to get revenge. So he basically mind controlled somebody and made them beat the ever living shit out of all the people that bullied him. And so Noriaki confronted Shinso and they had a fight. It ended up with Shinso being knocked the fuck out on the floor, but also with Noriaki having a stab wound. And he would know not to take it out or else he'll bleed out. But then again, he'll bleed internally, so he has to do something. So he basically picked up Shinso and started heading to a hospital. Or will fall over. And so he basically just have Shinso. He just be grabbing Shinso's body and just be dragging it while slowly limping to a car. And he basically throw a rock at it so they would see him and basically asked and yelled for them to help. They took him to a hospital, and before the surgery even started, as soon as they took the knife out, his wound just healed. And they all were just confused, but they saw this like reddish looking lightning just shoot out when he was getting healed. They just thought that he had a regeneration quirk. So they didn't think much of it. So they took him out the hospital. God damn it. This fight was around when he was like, was I even talking during the point where he got stabbed?
No.
God fucking damn it.
Hey,
So I
Show,
wasn't talking. Yo.
turn on voice activity.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry for the short pause there, guys. And yeah, let's get back.
Okay, so basically, Noriaki was born, all that shit. He was fascinated by everybody's quirks when he turned 4, and especially his friend Shinso Hitoshi's. And time skip to when he was 10. He saw that Shinso got revenge onto the people that were bullying him, calling him a villain. And so he basically just told Shinso straight up that doing that makes you look like a villain. You're supposed to be a hero. Like, it doesn't matter what your quirk is. You're like, it's the user who uses the quirk to decide whether they're a hero, a villain, a civilian, whatever the fuck, a vigilante. And so Shinso just wasn't having any of it. So he tried to use the body that he was mind controlling to beat the shit out of Noriaki. But Noriaki says, I've watched Hajime no Ippo, and so he beat the shit out of the nigga, and then he started fighting Shinso. Shinso didn't have any combat experience, so he was just beating up Shinso. Because he had a lot of fighting experience, not really any like fighting styles that he learned. He just had a lot of combat experience because he was fighting everybody. Mostly, he was fighting like 7 people a month, just because they thought that he was quirkless. And so he beat Shinso, but it ended up with him getting stabbed. And so he picked up Shinso and he started walking to a car. Shinso ended up waking up and tried to choke him out. And so he just be clawing for Shinso's arm so that he could get him off of him. But he eventually fell to the floor after not having much oxygen. And he knew, so he basically did this to make Shinso think that he passed out, but he really didn't. And so he elbowed Shinso's jaw and then just climbed on top of Shinso and just slammed his face into the floor so that he couldn't get up. Then he started choking Shinso, and then he eventually stopped, but Shinso took the knife out of Noriaki's stomach and ended up stabbing him in his windpipe. So he just fell over as he bled. And while bleeding, Shinso ran away. And so he took the knife out because he knew he was going to die anyway, because there's no way he'd make it to a hospital in time. And as he bled out, lightning that was red came out and started healing him. He was severely confused, but he didn't question it. He thought it was just his quirk awakening. So he started chasing after Shinso. And while on a chase for Shinso, they basically just ran around the entire junkyard. And when they finally got to the top of a crane, him and Shinso basically just stared at each other, knowing that not both of them is going to come down, because one is not going to listen to the other, especially after what just happened with Shinso stabbing him. And so they ran into each other and they punched each other in the face. And one of them, Shinso almost lost his balance, but he regained it, and he kicked Noriaki in his stomach. Then Noriaki grabbed Shinso's leg and headbutted him almost off the crane. And he picked up Shinso and was going to throw him off of the crane, but Shinso bit his hand and then uppercut the ever-living shit out of Noriaki. So Noriaki was just on the edge of the crane, and he got up, and as soon as he got up, he saw that a leg was coming near him, and he knew he didn't have enough time to dodge. So he put his arms forward and blocked. He almost fell off the crane, but luckily the universe wasn't having any of that, and so it wasn't windy. And when he regained his balance, he basically one just fast, swift movement, he punched Shinso in his nose, and Shinso got sent flying almost off the crane, but Shinso grabbed him to the edge. And as Noriaki was just looking at him, they both know what's about to happen. And just like a movie, he stepped on Shinso's hand, and Shinso fell to the ground to his death and died. And so he was just on the crane, sitting down, just looking at Shinso's dead body, not knowing what to do. because he could go to jail for this and all that. So he was just looking at it, and eventually somebody just stumbled upon him, and he missed a whole bunch of calls from his dad and mom, and they came. His mom and his dad were the people who found the body first, and they just looked up at him as he was sitting on the crane. He didn't know what to do, so he just jumped down and went to them, and they turned him into the police. They said that he was too young to go to jail, so they just put him in juvenile detention for 4 years. And during that time, he just spent most of his time reading books, learning about his quirk and all that. And then at the end of basically where everybody was getting out of middle school, he would basically get out of juvenile detention. And that was the end of Noriaki's backstory. You go on first.
Shut up, it's recording.
Hello, everyone, and we're back. So, basically,
Your voice cut out.
my voice. Izuku, after getting a 1-for-all in Shizu. So can I say he trains with like a Jedi Master or something?
That would not make sense at all.
I mean, like in his mind, like
Yeah.
good, like both sides, right?
Well, no, it's both sides when you're angry.
Well, that makes sense because both sides, like, you know.
When you're angry, it's the dark side.
Okay. So after signing up,
So basically, Deku would just be training with like a Jedi, one of the many Jedi masters.
Shizu, not Deku.
Yeah, Shizu.
So after signing up for UA in like the 10-month break, he finally goes in for the entrance exams with, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to say your OC's name.
Who?
Both of yours.
Mine's is Noriaki.
Okay.
Mine is Akari.
With Akari and Noriaki.
Yeah.
So he basically greet them because he's close to them and saying, "Are you trying out for UA too?"
Yeah, I am. What about you, robot guy?
Yeah, I'm trying out for the hero course.
What class do you want to? What class are you trying to get into?
Probably the best class.
What about you?
I just want to become a hero and save people.
Okay.
And Deku.
Well, I hope you three the best of luck. And yeah, my OC would basically my character, no, not my character. Noriaki would basically just go into the little theory exam room and sit down and wait for the tester to say that the test starts.
Deku and Shizu would basically go into the theory exam and sit down and just wait for everybody else to sit down. Illusion, you or bro? Have you got to get perfect on this test?
As Akari will sit down, he will wait until they said that the test would start. As soon as President Mike said that the test starts the test, Akari started writing down the answers pretty slow, like Naruto when they had to take the test in the tuning exams.
So basically, he gets like
Don't say the score. Don't say
92.
the score.
He gets like he's equal with Deku. Actually, Deku, he's kind of below Deku, but he did super good.
Noriaki would do the test, and he'd get flawless colors. And yeah, he'd do pretty well on the test. He didn't know what he did. I mean, he didn't know what he got, but he know he was at least just in the top 30. And he basically just finished the test really fast and just leave.
All I can say is that Akari didn't do that good on the test. He was at least in the top 50.
Dude, you're a robot.
The first not smart robot. That is a shocker.
I'm pretty sure a robot has of infinite knowledge.
He's more of like Android 17 from Dragon Ball. He's not an exact robot. He's still a human. He doesn't know every single thing.
So it's just like parts of him is like robotic.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, wait. I'm trying to see something. Okay, so isn't the robot exam next?
Yeah, the combat exams next.
Okay, the combat exam. So they would get ready and basically go into the front, and Ito would stop trying like distract a lady, and she would. God, I can't speak today. Shizu would say he's not even trying to distract, and Ito would apologize, and they were going to the front of the exam. President Mike would say, "Go," because there's no countdowns in a real battle.
Hold on. Isn't my glasses guy what's his name? Part of that one family, the Ingeniums?
Yep.
Chief.
Not the
Okay.
Ingeniums. The Itos.
Alright. Well my OC would just walk into where the little where the robots and shits are, and he just be fighting them pretty normally. He wouldn't be trying to like be outlandish or anything like that. He'd just be fighting them normally with using his quirk a little bit.
Show.
After President Mike said
make-
go, Akari would focus all of his compressed heat into his legs, and then Habib would come out of his feet and then propel him all the way to the back where most of the robots were, because people would mainly destroy the robots in the front. Akari would focus mainly on destroying the three-pointer robots with orbs of compressed heat, and the others with beams, because the beams took less effort than the orbs.
So he would just show. Is my force level able to crush over?
Yeah, but what?
I said, is it able to crush robots?
Yeah, it'd be able to. You'd have to like focus on it though.
Huh?
Yeah, you'll be able to, but you have to like focus on crushing it.
Deku would basically stare into of one of the robots. He would focus. He would imagine the wires and everything inside of it, and he would just focus on moving it, and basically crushes it into a ball and throws it into of another robot. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I mean, Shizu, God. Uh, not Deku. I'm sorry. So yeah, after getting like at least 12 robots, I think that's good. The zero he would start to leave, and at the 0 pointer would come, and he just starts walking away because there's no point. He thinks he um he already is about to like pass, and he if he sees a girl before he can do anything, he sees an outline and he sees a jump. He sees a Zuku.
ケツの穴グッと引き締めて
He's gonna get slapped by Uraraka, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the entrance exams.
All Might, is that you?
Who? Was that your OC?
Yeah.
He'll basically look at Deku and says he has a quirk. He won't be mad. He'll just be surprised about it.
What do you mean? Like, did you think he didn't have a quirk?
Well, he talked about it, but he didn't believe him because like he didn't think it was possible to have
No, like
quirks.
my OC's talking to you.
Oh, what did he say to me?
He basically said that. Did you think that he didn't have a quirk?
No.
How long did you know him for?
My entire life. This is the only time I've ever seen him use it.
Is he like All Might's kid or something?
No, but it's actually pretty surprising to see him do this. I'll talk to him about it later.
His quirk is strong. Well, see you later. Not my OC. Noriaki will just leave after killing one more robot.
Before you go, what are y'all two's names?
Oh, I'm Noriaki. Himejima.
I am Akari Nahara.
Nice to meet you. I'm Shizu. Oroda.
Nice to meet you as well.
He'll basically just leave and hopes Deku is okay and leaves. Of mind training, like control training before the letter gets there. I'm pretty sure if everyone would be training before the letter gets there.
Yeah.
And the first person, I don't know.
Okay, then okay. Noriaki would get his letter in the mail, and his mom would come down and tell him that it's there. So he'd go down and he'd go get it. He'd just go into his room, and he'd open it, and he'd see that All Might is congratulating him on passing the exam, and that he had gotten into class 1A, and that he had gotten number 7 on the combat exam and number 2 on the theory exam. And so he didn't really care. He was just happy that he got into UA. He really didn't care what class he got into. So he was just pretty happy. And so he told his dad and his mom that he passed, and they hugged him. And he just be looking at the letter, just surprised that he even passed, because he really didn't kill that much robots. It was mostly just 3-pointers, but he thought they were 1-pointers because of the way that they looked, because they were like just a little bit taller, not noticeably taller. And then the next person to get the letter that they passed into UA would be Shizu.
So, doorbell ring, and he opens the door and he sees that no one is there. And he just goes down and basically sits down in his room and eats breakfast and opens the letter. All Might is congratulating him on getting into Class 1A, and he's pretty happy because not only did he get into UA, he got into the best. Well, he got into 1A, and he's pretty happy about that. And now he thinks he can definitely become a hero. So now he would get 12th place on the theory exam, and on the combat exam, I'm gonna need your help with this one.
Let's say that he got 5th place, because people like Bakugo is just built different.
Okay, bet. Basically, if he gets 5th place in the combat exam, and the next person that gets the letter is Akira.
So,
I mean Akaru.
when Akaru hears his doorbell ring, he walks down the stairs from his room to the living room and then opens the door. He checks the mail and sees a letter. When he opens the letter, there's a device. And when he puts it down on the table, a hologram of All Might pops out and tells him that he got 2nd place on the combat exam and 20th place on the written exam, giving him basically 6th place overall in the exam itself. Akari wasn't really upset or happy. He just sat there and looked at the hologram until it stopped playing. Then he lay down on his bed and thought about how he did so terrible on the written exam.
Hey, it's not that bad. You got 20th place, because there's people who got like 100th place.
And that's. So did you get into 1A or not?
I mean, he got 6th place overall on the
But he got
exam.
2nd on the combat exam, though. That's enough to make him in 1A.
Mm-hmm.
He got 2nd? Golly. Well, anyways, I don't know how long the time skip, or is there even a time skip to when they actually get into UA?
Yeah, it's only a day, so we could just say how the rest of the day went. I'll go first.
Okay, go.
Okay, so Noriaki, after getting the letter, just practiced alchemy and was trying to get to the point where he could he could control what he makes like extremely well, like all his platforms, pillars that he can make from using alchemy. He'd basically try to make them into like spikes, guns, like just extremely sharp blades, people, all of that nature. And eventually he gets to the point where he could basically make like little he basically make like a water arm that he could like put around his entire arm, and then put basically like these like sharp like compressed water blades around it, as if he was like a dragon or like a water serpent or dragon. And he basically just be practicing with it for the rest of the day. And then he would eventually go to sleep after reading a book and teaching a little bit of alchemy to his little sister.
Okay,
He also has a little sister now?
Yeah, he got one when he was 11.
okay, Gary, go.
For the rest of his day, Akari spent all his time learning about heroes, their abilities, and all the other necessary things that a normal high school student would need to know to get through high school. Since he got such a pass on the combat exam, he wouldn't really work on how he controls his quote-unquote work in any way, shape, or form. He would just spend the whole time studying.
So for Ashi's rest of the day, he would basically he would meditate, because most people only practice their quirks and like physical skills. They never actually work on their mind and meditate. And meditating is a big part of his force. And Shizu has mastered how to like stay, not to like a full degree, but a pretty good one. And he would spend half the day meditating and then the other half of the day just practicing his voice. Yeah, that's it for his. Yeah. Oh, and Deku would basically just be happy and too excited to. Well, he would train. Yeah, and that's what Deku would do, and eat and rest.
Okay, the next day they all would just wake up and they would just do what they normally do, all that, and then right before they just walk into the gate and they all just see each other and go.
And after seeing them, he basically says he's pretty amazed to see the only people he talked to are the ones he sees first, and he says, "Hey."
Oh, you got him. What class did you get into?
I got into 1A.
What about you?
Who did Deku or him?
I got into class 1A.
No, we all got to the same class then. What about you?
Deku would say
Deku
that he
would be
got into class 1A.
Deku would be excited to say this, and he would say, "I got into class 1A."
Is your arm alright after destroying that robot? Because from the last of I saw it, that it looked that like it was broken.
Yeah, the recovery girl healed it.
Oh, okay. What is your quirk?
Yeah, a strength quirk. It's too strong for me to control, and just pops my body because it's so strong.
What if you try to like channel it, like your strength into like a weapon? So, like for example, a glove or like a balloon, like a baseball bat, something like that. So that instead of hurting yourself, it'd be destroying the weapon, but you'd be able to like have like strong attacks with weapons, and you wouldn't be hurting yourself.
I never really thought about it that way. Thanks.
No problem. Mousy would just basically just start walking to the doors, and he accidentally bumped into Momo. Just say sorry, and then he just go in.
I want to talk first, but it's short. Deku would trip because he's nervous. And Uraraka would catch him. And yeah, the same the same thing goes like the same way really in canon, and yeah. Okay, it's your turn, show.
What do you mean? It's Garos.
Oh, go.
Akari will walk through the doors and sit in one of the empty seats and wait for the teacher to come in the door. Well, in the room.
Okay, Noriaki would basically just sit down at the back of the class, and we just take a nap while waiting for the teacher to get there.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry for this, but just who's editing the video and like?
I'll edit it.
Okay, good. So
just send me the video and I'll add the intro and outro to it.
yeah, so they just walk in and Ashita will look at the God. Wait a second. So Shizu would basically I the big ass door and think it's a classroom full of monsters, and he's like, whoa. He just goes in and walks in to see Bakugo with his feet on the desk and Ida telling him to put it down. And that's really it. Like, well, they would greet us. I'm so really late. They would greet Noraki, and because he got like second of Tyriism, and that's how did he do it?
Well, well, most of my life I've just been reading books, and yeah, I've just gotten really smart from them. Yeah. If you want, I can help you. If any of you guys got low on a theory exam, I can like be your tutor. So yeah.
And they all start like shouting me, and then Azal walks in. I mean, it's like, if you want to make friends, this classroom isn't. I forgot what he said, but yeah, he basically says something like that, and they will all be like, "Who is you?" And
Isn't the entire point of school to make friends, to get relationships, and to get a connection so that when you're older, when you're a hero, you can have connections, you could be strong, you can save people, and if you're ever in trouble, you could get your friends who are your connections to help you.
Notice how the more we get off track, the more editing that Yasuo has to do.
Also, who even are you anyway?
I'm your homeroom teacher, Shoda Aizawa. Now, there should be some cases filled with your UA uniforms. Come with me and meet me outside near the track.
But you should probably go to sleep. You look like you haven't slept in 1 week.
That's basically what I was just doing until you all wake me up with your yelling.
And then go back to sleep. You look like an old man.
show.
My OC would grab one of the clothes and just dip past Aizawa.
Well,
Get up and excuse his friend, and I'll grab his clothes and go down to the locker room to change.
Akari would grab one of the pairs of UA uniform and go down to the locker room.
Well, while Of all the changing, Mineta basically peeks a hole through the girls' locker room and just like peeks on them.
He sees
Now,
her.
Manetta, listen, I like girls too. They very hot. Listen, especially that the black hair one. Not gonna lie, she looks very nice. I'm not gonna lie. But one thing you should never do is peep on them. Then my OC would just use he would just use his he basically use alchemy and send a little pillar to make Minetta go flying so that he'd stop peeping and he would repair the hole that's in there. That's in the wall.
Mineta was bleeding. He would look up and give a thumbs up to not Rocky. And yeah, it goes.
Well, it looks like we have a pervert in here.
Oh yeah, I should probably hear your nose. 1 second. Lexi would just walk up to him, and he basically grabbed a piece of paper, and then he put it onto Manetta's face. He uses alchemy, and he basically transmutes the paper into like healing, so he can heal Manetta's nose, so the bleeding will stop. And then he will go back to Tango.
Oh, and after changing, they would basically go out into the I went to the track, and the first one who goes is the first one who's like first of overall, and that is I don't know who.
Yes, Koski.
We'll just say Bakugo.
Baku, okay.
Hey, Bakugo, what's the farthest that you threw a softball in junior high?
So Bakugo was throwing it like at max 1,200 or 1,025 meters, and Bakugo was smirked. Beat that damn nerd.
Why are you being so cocky about it?
He doesn't say damn nerd. He just beat that.
It's not even a competition. Why you gotta be competitive? Acting as if it's a tournament.
He looks at no Rocky and just looks at him and passes him and shoulder bumps him. And yeah, he just goes back in. Oh, he doesn't go back. He just waits. And
That's why you got bleached hair.
Oh, huh?
Anyway. So who's going first before the ball to throw?
So who's second?
That'll probably be me.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Azal, I got a question. Do I use my quirk or do I not?
Yes, you must use your quirk.
Okay. Okay, so I basically all right, so I basically use alchemy and I would grab the ball. Oh my fucking I said on mute.
Oh my god.
Alright, so I'd grab the ball and I also grab a little piece of like dirt and I clump it together. And I basically transmute it into like let's say I transmute it into like a metal arm. And I basically just put it around my arm and I grab the ball and I put all my strength into the ball and then I just throw it and it would get about let's say 1,300, just a little bit above Bakugo. Because Mousie's he's also been training physically so that he doesn't, get killed by his quirk. You can unmute.
Okay, so who's third? So who's third?
Oh, it'd probably be Garo, but Garo just left the call.
Oh.
You could say Deku goes, and then you go.
So Deku goes and he's about to use his whole hand, but Aizawa stops him and says what he said in canon. And yeah, and Deku ends up using it in one finger and gets the same score he did in canon. And fourth is Garu because he just joined back. So yeah.
Go. It's your turn to throw the ball.
Okay, so when Aizawa says that it is Akari's turn to throw the ball, Akari will go up there and pull off one of his fingers from his robotic arm and then shove it into the softball and then throw it, and then something like jet propulsion will pop out from the back of his now torn off finger and then push the softball farther, getting a total of, let's say, 640 meters.
Okay, so Deku. I mean, not Deku. No, Shizu.
Oh.
Shizu basically goes and then I'm looking this girl. I'll give you the gift. Wait. So basically, Shizu just stands there and oh no, he doesn't stand. He walks up and just he focuses all his strength into the ball, and then the ground cracks a little bit. It doesn't break in like squares or something like the normal anime does. and he just focusing all his strength, and he just throws the ball, and he uses the force because like the force is everywhere. I think he just yeets it to infinity. Yeah, and that's it.
RIP. Like 75% of your energy.
Rip.
Anyway, so Aizawa basically tell them to do the 100-meter dash, and Bakugo would go first, and he get the same score that he got in canon, which I think was 1 point something seconds.
Can he teleport?
No, his explosions are just that fast.
Oh, I'm talking about me.
Oh, no, people would no. You can't teleport,
Yet.
but you can make yourself lighter.
I bet. So, second was you. No. It was you, I think, right?
Yeah. So my OC would go, and he would basically grab his arm, and he'd use alchemy on it to make it a little lighter. And he basically do this with basically all his body parts to make him just a little bit shorter, so he could be faster. And he would also basically like use his quirk, not alchemy, his quirk, to basically like make himself like just a little bit more smaller, and to make him like a little bit more aerodynamic. And he basically run, and he get about like he get to the 100-meter and about like I'd say like 14, 15 seconds. And then yeah.
And third is Garu's OC. Oh, Deku? Okay, bet. And Deku would basically just he straight up just runs. And just he uses like he uses like a finger to just boost off and just go faster, because I'll keep in mind Deku trained with All Might, so he's not physically like Baki buff, but he's still pretty buff. And he gets, I honestly don't know, pretty good. I'll say that. Like, yeah, pretty good. And fourth is Garu, and then fifth is mine.
Now, when it's Hikaru's turn to do the 100-meter dash, I have forgot to mention something. He was one with the quirk, which was he could increase the amount of heat that his body emits on a daily basis. I forgot to mention that because I was coming up with things on the spot. But anyways, he would increase the amount of heat that his body creates and focus all the heat energy onto his feet. And then he would send it all out in a beam, and then it will propel him forward, going past the finish line in about, let's say 20 seconds.
Okay, it's now over my turn finally, and he doesn't really abuse too much force or energy because like this is pretty easy. All he has to do is run and get and be good, like be fast, and he just uses like barely if any percent in it of his force, and uses his physical strength and just dashes all the way to the finish line. And he gets, I'll say, better than Bakugo, at least. And the next test, I think, is testing, the grip strength test. You heard me?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Bakugo would do the test, and he basically get the same that he got in canon. Then Mousy would go next. And no, how the fuck did I forget his name? Yeah, Noriaki.
Sure, you a dumbass.
That was my accident. Okay, so Noriaki will do the grip test, and he get a pretty high score, almost as high as the dude who has multiple arms with the eyes on them.
And Deku, I guess the same as he would in canon, and now it's Garu Roshi's turn.
Now, since Hikari has mechanical arms, they will be stronger than normal human arms, but not like superhuman, but to the level where they can like break a wall. So when he grabs it, he gets a total of 60 kilograms. I think that's how you measure it. I forgot.
So it's my turn, right?
Yep.
Wait 1 second. So he would just basically grab it, and does he use his quirk, or is it just like physical strength?
It's physical strength.
And he just like uses his physical strength, and like yeah, he gets like 12 kilograms. Next is actually never mind. Freak all of that I just said. He gets 67 kilograms. If I'm checking this thing and it says Deku has 56 kilograms. So yeah. Is that all?
Okay. No, just the jump test.
and then the side to side, and then we're done.
Yeah. Okay, so Bakugo would go first, and he'd just get infinite because he could just hover with his explosions. So he would get number one. Miles would go next, and he basically used his alchemy to basically reshape himself to back when he was normal. And he basically just used his alchemy, and he'd transmute the ground into making it go extremely high, like 300 meters into the air, and he'd just be looking down at everybody, and yeah, he just jumped down, and then the next to go would be Deku.
Deku basically just dang. Okay, let's see. Landed within sandbox. So, yeah. He basically it's like a sandbox, and like actually, so there's a sandbox and they had to jump over or something. And like, yeah. So Deku's landed within the sandbox, but he got close, like leaving, and Bakugo got. Let's see. He got over the sandbox because duh. And next is Garugosi.
Akari would basically use the same strategy he used in the 100-meter dash, but he would propel himself slightly in the air and then basically fly over the sand pit.
Now it's Mousy turn and well, flies over it. I'm using the force. In the last test, repeated side steps. And so Bakugo goes first, and wait. So Bakugo goes first. Bakugo goes first. He basically just does side to side steps.
Garo.
Yeah.
Garo.
Huh?
You're muted. You are muted.
Was muted that whole time, or
Yep. That time where if you were talking about the jump thing, yeah, you were muted.
alright. So basically, Akari would use the same strategy he used in the 100-meter dash, but he would slightly propel himself into the air, and then he would basically fly over the sand pit.
And now the repeated side steps, and the first one is Bakugo, and he does as well as he did in canon. Second, Show. Third, Deku. Fourth, Garlic, and fifth is Mousy. Go. Oh, I'm just telling you the order.
Was that the last test?
Huh?
Was that the last one?
The jump one.
Yeah, we just did that.
No, I thought you said the last test. Now the last test is the repeated side steps.
Alright. Well, I could go get the same score as he did in canon, and Mousy would do it, and he'd basically just get the same score as Bakugo, so they tie.
Oh, and Deku would do it and just get even with Bakugo and them. Garu
Would get higher. What? He would get higher than Bakugo.
Oh, well, when I was mostly turning, he would get just a Bakugo level. I'm pretty sure Bakugo level is like average, so yeah. Or more than average. It really doesn't matter. Well, anyways, today we'll be ending this video off here.
Oh no, not yet. Gotta do one last thing.
Huh?
So basically, Bakugo will be pissed that Deku got so high on the tests, and so he basically run up to Deku, and with a charged napalm blast in his hand, he basically go to hit Deku straight into his face, and that's what will be ending it off.
No, show.
And see you guys later. We hope you enjoyed, and come back for part 2. Goodbye.
俺は覚えているか